Okay, cool. So page 177, figure 11.1. So you have the top program, which is calling the bottom program. The top program, which is making a call to the bottom program called PGMB, passes the two parameters. Update gets passed to mode, and the amount gets passed to key. Now in CL, which is slightly different from other languages that you know, the parameters do not declare their data types at the point of reception. You only mention their names. You declare these variables later on. So if you look at the first two lines inside the program B, that's where those variables are declared with all their definitions. Then there are a bunch of if conditions to go through, where if the value of mode equals add, then call another program called PGMC, pass the key over there. If it equals update, calls program D. If it equals delete, call program E. If it equals view, call program F. You know, from B, you can have all these different calls to the other programs. So if you really want to look at how the calls take place in programming, I think I explained this concept to you guys in Java, that we have a call stack. And in a call stack, whenever a caller makes a call, the caller goes down the stack and the called comes up the stack. So it is just like a stack of trays, last in, first out. So the last item means the topmost item is the last most item. So when the called is done processing, it is taken off the stack. And now caller comes up the stack and resume its work from where it last left off. So if you were to understand this from this example on page 177, we'll make a call to PGMB from PGMA. So when that call takes place, PGMA goes down the stack and PGMB comes up the stack. And PGMB will now, if it makes a call to C, D, E, or F, whichever of the four functions it calls, those objects then come up the stack and B goes down the stack. So A is now 2 levels down. When any one of those four gets done, then the call is resumed back in B. And then when B is done, the call goes back to A. Then A completes its body. Something similar to this being explained to you guys. If you please turn to page 178. On page 178, read the call stack topic, which is around figure 11.2. It's on 2 pages. Read pages 178 and 179. Jonathan having net issues again. Say it again, Cole.
I forgot that I was unmuted.
Oh, okay, cool.
And I started to sing like something.
Okay. Okay, Jonathan, good to hear that. So in other programming languages, you also have the similar kind of call stacks where a caller goes down the stack and called comes up the stack. And the special stack memory is maintained by your executor or program executor. So looking at the bottom of page 181 now, so is, sorry, not 81, 181, sorry, 179. Is everybody done with these two pages? 178, 179? Okay. So page number 179 towards the bottom talks about executing programs with the transfer control command. Because typically what happens is that whenever you make a call, the caller and call, they're both on the stack. But if you do a transfer control command, then it passes the control to that program and then removes the caller from the stack. So the transfer control command, page number 180, has a benefit that unnecessary people are not running in memory. So transfer control, as opposed to call, will transfer the control over to another program, and then the caller will simply be taken off the stack once the transfer is complete. When you use the transfer control command, even if there appears to be further statements to process in the calling program, so if caller has more instructions other than the call, all of those instructions will then be ignored because the caller won't be in the memory anymore. So you got to be a little careful when you use this kind of a command. So go ahead and read pages 180 and 181, and they'll explain the process to you. Okay, so on page number 181, you will also find another command or keyword called return that you typically use towards the end of the program. So the return command is pretty much an indicator to remove the program from the stack. So in the absence of a return command, the program may still be hanging in the stack. So control is returned to the next program up the stack, where processing resumes at the line following the call command. So from wherever the caller made a call, the control is resumed back to the next statement. So that's why return command is very important. Anytime a CL program ends, even if the CL return command is not executed, an implicit return operation occurs. So even when you don't code one, the system will code one for you because that command is required to take the item off the stack. However, if you turn over to the next page, page 182, most IBM high-level languages like COBOL and RPG let you end a called program, but have it stay available in the invocation level. For example, assume a CL program calls an RPG program. When the RPG program completes its processing, the control is returned back to the CL program, but the RPG program remains suspended in the call stack, either until the CL program calls it again, or until the program, which is a CL program, ends completely. CL programs, however, doesn't offer any such capability. When a CL program ends, its invocation is always dropped and the program is no longer in the stack. So that's one more difference between CL, which is a low-level language, versus the high-level languages. What are some of the job-related commands? We have submit job, which is to submit a batch job. We have work job, to work with jobs, and then within which we can work with active jobs, work with submitted jobs, and work with user jobs. So these are the three other commands. You can change a job, you can display a job, you can end a job, or you can hold a job, release a job, or hold release a job. Okay. Here we are changing a job known as this. This is qualified name. As the author told you on slide number 3, it is the job number / the user profile / the job name. That's the sequence, right? So job number / your profile information / your object that you're calling, your actual job. And then after that, you are basically telling the job queue name where you want the change job to take place. And end job will then terminate the job. And then you can say, I want to terminate it immediately for immediate termination. So page number 182 talk about the submit job, the command parameters of submit job, and other submit job parameters that are all talked about on page 182 all the way through 185. So it's a long list of details about the submit jobs. So again, a bit of a reading for you guys to do. So read pages 182 through 185. I see that a lot of you are done, but some of you are still in the process of reading. Does anybody has any questions so far? Okay, so um, we're gonna give, okay, who is still left? Aiden and Victor and Robert and Devin. Okay. At the bottom of page 185, the self-submitting program, submitting long-running jobs to batch will enhance your computer's overall performance and should be encouraged whenever it is practical to do so, so that you don't have to be present there when the things gets done. On page number 185, it talks about it is possible to retrieve information within a sealed program using a retrieve job attributes command. Retrieve job attribute command will be talked about in a little bit more detail in chapter number 14, but a brief discussion of the self-submitting technique is what's shown on page 186. That you have a program that takes a couple of parameters, the mode and the customer number on page 186. You declare the mode and the customer number and the job type variables. Retrieve job attribute. So you retrieve the job type in the variable job type. If the job type is 1, you submit a job. Now, when you say submit a job, that automatically gets submitted to where? To the batch job. And then you can call a program that's what gets submitted to the batch job. So this program, my PGM, receives 2 parameters and declares 1 character variable called job type, which will be used to store jobs environment. The retrieve job attribute command that follows the declaration of variable retrieves the job attribute type. If the job is interactive, the type attribute placed in the job type will be 1. If the job is a batch, it will be 0. And then you can make a call to the program as shown at the bottom of page 186. You can pass the parameters. So this would be then submitted to the job. Okay, go over the chapter summary. We'll take a short break. And then when we come back, we will then be looking at our program. So what I would suggest you do is after you read the chapter summary, you take a break and also log in towards the end of the break to the V2 Cloud environment so that when we are back, we could start working on some programming activities. So let's meet back at 3:45, okay? So I'll see you guys at 3:45. Okay, guys, welcome back. As I ask you to log into the RDI, hopefully everybody is ready. So let's do this. Let me clear your feedback. So if you can give me a feedback that you're ready, and then we will move forward with our today's code. Okay, there's still some of you who are not logged in. Cole, Devin, Jonathan. Yeah, 3 people not yet logged in. Okay, so I believe everybody is logged into the system except for Devin. Okay, so I hope, Devin, you're back and not having any issues. So this is the program that we were looking at last time. And this is the program where we wrote the while loop. In the while loop, we were able to change the variable's value. There were 2 variables that we were changing their values. And then once we were done changing the values, we dumped the CL program so that we can see the entire output. So that basically was the focus for our last program that we did. Now we still need to work with the for loop, which we will be targeting next. So we'll be creating a new member. This will be SP22 prog 814 CLLE. So SP22 prog 14 CLLE, finish.
What was the name of the source physical file we've been working with again?
So again,
What was the name of the source physical file that we've been working with?
that was the CLSP22 initials.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we're declaring a variable count, setting it to the value of 0, where the length is 2. So we started looking into the loops in the earlier chapters. However, as you know, that the chapters are so interconnected, so some of the things that we will be doing from the earlier chapters, I think that was chapter number 7 that introduced you to loop, or was it chapter 6? Oh, page 133. Actually, that was chapter number 9 that introduced you to the for loop. That was page 142 and 143. So based on the knowledge from pages 142, 143, how will I write this for loop? So that is pages 142, 143. That shows you how to write a for loop. So we type do for. We type the variable name from the initial value to the end value. And then we type and do. And that's what we do in the body of the for loop. So the for loop will automatically run from 1 through 10 without needing any change variable instruction. So no change variable instruction is needed. It automatically runs through that. And we can display the end value of the count variable. Do you guys remember what command we use to display the value of a variable on the prompt?
It's a PGM message.
Yep, send PGM message, send PGM message, right? I purposely made a mistake on line number 111. Let's see if you guys can fix that.
Is it that you need to add a plus in between?
No, no. Did you compile it yet?
No.
Okay, compile it.
Do we have to use a different concatenation operator?
Nope.
The operands aren't the same type.
Yep, that should be the error, but you got to figure out how to fix it. I know the error message. What is the data type of the variable that you're trying to display?
It's an integer. Is that wrong?
Can't hear you.
Yes, it is integer. So, and what about the send program message? Can it take integers?
No, because it is a string type method.
Right, right. So that means you need to convert the count to a string type.
So that'd be a change var, correct?
No. Change var is used to change the value of the variable. It's
Okay,
just like an
cool.
assignment operation.
So this is casting then.
This is casting, exactly. So start thinking in that lines.
You have me flipping through this book, man.
See if you can Google it faster.
So we're trying to convert from character data to numeric data, right?
I'm trying to convert from numeric to character,
Numeric to cat. Okay.
right? Because my current data type for count is numeric.
Page 116 says converting numeric data to character data.
Page number 116. That would be chapter number
8.
8.
The numeric value cannot be coded using a string.
Yeah,
The
but this
value,
is mhm.
the value when placed into the receiver variable will be justified.
You're looking at the wrong resource. This is about changing variable, not casting.
Okay.
Okay. So the change variable is out the window. Don't even think in the change variable direction. You have to think in the casting direction. That means you should be looking at built-in functions.
Hmm.
How do you write a built-in function
Percent sign?
percent sign? Okay, so there has to be some kind of a built-in function before around the count, which will
So-
start with percent symbol and will enclose the count in it. Yes, somebody was saying something?
There's either two options it can be. I believe it to be
Is it like
character.
percentage character? That's what you believe it to be.
Yes, because you're changing the int to that, and in my example, it kind of has the reverse. Where it
Okay,
says percent
so-
int.
So compile with your belief.
Yeah. All right, cool. See.
So did your belief compiled?
One moment. Takes forever. Imagine, oh, hold on, forgot a parenthesis, haha. Yeah, it worked.
Yep, it should. Your belief
Sweet.
worked this time, but remember, belief doesn't always works in programming.
No, entirely.
This time it worked based between your belief and past knowledge.
No, I Googled it like you told me to, and I was reading off the example
Okay.
off of IBM. No, I wasn't believing.
Okay, so once you guys are done compiling this, then you make a call. And then you should be able to see the output down below saying count on exit is 11. Okay, everybody got that?
I've got a few errors.
A few errors.
Yeah,
Really? I only wrote a few lines.
I know.
Did you make an error per line?
So this is kind of like equal to parse in like another, like in
Yeah,
Java.
it's exactly like if you are doing other languages like Java, it is pretty much like integer.toString.
Okay.
Can I just share my screen?
Yep.
Your words per minute in IBM cannot be super fast, can it?
Okay, if you double click on your error message, the very first one, it takes you to the line number. So what happened was you left a space after the word TO2. No space there. Okay, now go ahead and save the changes and compile. Okay. So that fixed. And it's down to one error. Okay. Now notice the color of the two changed, like from to green. So if the color doesn't change, that's an indicator that you did something wrong. Now on line 110, remember in IBM, no command is spelled out completely. Look at the very first word that you wrote. Yep, that's it. Okay, that should let you
Thank you.
compile it. Mhm. So pay special attention to the color coding. So whenever you have an error, just double click on the error. That'll take you to the line where the error is, and then start looking at the syntax. And always remember that it doesn't like leaving space between a keyword and its value. Okay, so everybody got it now?
I'm having an error. It says variable count is referred to but not declared.
Okay, then see if you correctly declared it or not.
Let's
See,
see.
line 102 is where I declared count, and line number 107 is where I used it, and line 111 is where I used it again.
Declare counter. Oh, it has 2 extra letters I don't need.
That's it.
Okay.
So that's how, I mean, that's why I let you guys fix it yourself first, so that you get into the habit of fixing it yourself, because some of these errors are so evident just by looking at it. If you just compare the two, you'll be able to see where you might have gone wrong. So always try to read the error message and understand it, because the more you read these messages and what code generate what kind of error message, the more you get better at it. Many, many years ago, Java programmers used to say that you are not a programmer in Java yet if you haven't seen or made 40,000 errors.
So I'm already a Java programmer. That's nice.
Did you make 40,000 yet?
I mean, probably in my lifetime.
But you will be taking Java in summer, right? Or you took Java before?
I haven't taken Java yet.
Yes. I hope you're not sleep counting those errors instead of lamps. Error 1, error 2. Okay, so can we move on to the next one now? Save this one as number 15. And just copy and paste line 102 on line 103. So now we have 2 variables. Copy and paste. It's not working or what? Okay, let me do the right click copy. Right click copy and right click paste. That works. Okay. Sometimes shortcuts don't work. Okay, so now I called this one count 2. Everything exactly the same. Now I will use the change variable command. So this is the command that you use to increment or change the value of a variable. So now I am incrementing the count 2 by 1. So count 2 plus 1. So this will increment the variable by 1. So compile this and run this. So we have a variable, which is a loop counter, and we have a variable that is used inside the loop, and we are incrementing that as well. So the variable that we're incrementing inside the loop is counting how many times the loop is running, just so that you can see at the end of the process that the loop ran 10 times. But the exit value for count was 11, because 10 is still a valid value for it to go through.
Getting errors.
Getting errors, did you double click on the error?
Yeah.
Which line it is? Did you then check the syntax?
It's saying that line 9 variable and count 2 is referred but not
Right,
declared.
right. You check your declaration up there. You see my 2 lines up there?
Oh, I see. I
Yeah.
just forgot the 2.
Exactly. See, I mean, like most of these errors you guys can figure out on your own. You don't even need my help. But all you got to do is just pay a little bit of attention to it. How about now? Everybody is okay? Did you
I'm
guys?
still working on it.
Yeah, go ahead. Who was somebody saying something?
I just said I'm still working on
Oh,
mine.
you're still working on it. Okay.
Yeah, I accidentally programmed over program 14,
Okay.
so I'm fixing that right now.
So for those of you who got it compiled, make sure that you have run it to make sure that it runs as well, and it will show you the output that the value of count, the loop ran 10 times. So for those of you who got this program up and running, can save it as number 16. And can you change this program for a reverse counting loop? So instead of 1 through 10, it should go from 10 through 1. And Christian, let me know when you're caught up.
I'm caught up. I just need to compile the program now.
I mean, yeah, of course, compiling and running is part of caught up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm having an error on line 107.
Did you try fixing it yourself first?
I will do that right now.
Okay.
I figured it out.
See, I mean, most of the errors you guys can figure out on your own. It's just like, initially people go in this panic mode. There's an error. There's an error. So just try to pay attention to the error line number, the error message, and then you have the code next to you that works. Just tallying will help you. Just write perfectly fine code. Okay, so now I will be saving this example as number 16. So for those of you who had a head start on 16, what changes should I make to line 107 to make it go 10 to 1?
Just switch the from to 10 and the 2 to 1.
Okay, will this be enough?
No, because you have to change the variable and change count to -1.
Right. And how will I do that?
Just change the plus to minus.
What plus?
The plus on line 108.
But line 108 is on count 2. That's a different variable.
Oh, I didn't pay attention to that.
Yeah, right?
On line 107, you can have by -1 or by -1.
Very good. Very good. Yep. And that where will you find that information in the book? Page 142. If you look at the very last line on page 142, it tells you that you add by after, and this is where you can put a number which is an increment or a decrement. If you are incrementing other than 1 or decrementing by any number, that's what goes in the by clause. Okay. Now let's copy line 111 and we'll paste it right below. The loop counter. Exit value.
Okay, so I'm having an issue. I've compiled it and it has no errors, but now I'm trying to call it and it won't let me. Oh, it says cursor in protected area of display. I fixed it.
Cool.
SP. Oh, wow.
So again, when you guys are done making the changes to this one, save the changes, compile the program, and then you run the program. Now, because I use two send program message commands, that means there will be two outputs. That's why if you look at the bottom, I have the loop ran 10 times and I have a little plus sign next to it. That means if I do a page down, I can get to see the next line of output through a page down key on the keyboard. So then it says the loop counter exit value is 0 because this is a reverse loop. So upon exit, the count was 0. Works fine. Did everybody get this one working? Anybody still coding?
How would you do the page down on the green screen?
Yeah, just go to the green screen, you run the program, and then you click the bottom where the output
Okay.
is, and then you can hit the page down.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Should my exit value be 0, not 11?
Right, because we're doing reverse loop, right? We're going from 10 to 1.
Mm.
So the 11 is the value of count 2, which is still incrementing forward. So not 10, not 11, 10. And the count is coming backward, so its exit value will be 0.
So you have to specify, if you're doing it backwards, you have to specify by -1.
Yes. And even if you are incrementing by more than 1, you still have to mention by.
So
1 is by
default
default.
is-
Increment by
0.
1 is by default.
Okay. By -1. Okay. then go- All right, I've got it to work completely.
Aiden, you got it too? Okay, got it. Awesome. Let's save this one as number 17, guys. And this time we will try to change the loop back to from 1 to 10, but we'll get rid of the by clause. And this time we will do multiple increments. Like we will increment the count in the loop, and we will also increment the count within the loop, just so that you can see how it behaves. Change variable, count, incremented, let's say by 3. What is it doing? So I want you to check out the values of count 2 and count this time, as we're incrementing count by far more than a single increment. So basically the count is getting double incremented. So the value of count is 1 when we make it 4. So right away in the first cycle, we make the value 4 because of plus 3. So when it goes back into the for loop, it is 4. So it's 4 within the range, yes. It comes down to line number 108, it now becomes 7. Is 7 in the range? Yes. It goes back and checks for 7 and it says, yes, 7 is in the range. Now it makes it 10. Is 10 in the range? Yes. It makes it 13 and then it exits at 13 because the count changes to 13 because of plus 3 here, okay? So how many times did it really run? It ran for 3 times because, well, let me do this. Yeah, count starts at 0, okay? So the first time the count comes in is at 4. And then it is at 7, and it is at 10. So those are the 3 times that it runs. 1, 2, 3. So that's why the value of count 2 is 3, and the value for count is 13. We changed lines 107 and 108. 107, we changed from a reverse loop to a forward loop. We dropped the by, and then we added line 108. Okay, everybody get this? Got this running?
What the value, have we already went over what the values are supposed to be when we run
Yeah.
the program?
Notice I explained that in the comments next to it. Can you see those comments that I wrote?
Yeah.
Or did you miss that explanation?
I must have missed it.
So what I did was I told you guys that in this case, every time the loop runs, we are incrementing count multiple times.
Oh,
Okay, so we are incrementing count by 1 on line 107, but on line 108, we are incrementing it again. So it may start out as 1, but because of line 108, it'll actually become 4 because of +3. Where count 2 is incrementing by 1, regular. You go back, is 4 within the range? Yes, you come back, and now it becomes 7. 7 is in the range. Yeah, it comes down and becomes 10. Okay, when it is 10, it's okay, but in the next cycle, it becomes 13. That's when it terminates. That's why when you're looking at the output, you will see that for the count, the terminating value is 13, but for the count 2, the terminating value is 3 because it only ran 3 times.
okay. I'm getting different results.
Shouldn't. If you did everything correctly, you shouldn't get different results. What results are you getting?
8 and 11.
Check the code. First thing. Did you did everything the way I did it? Or because I only changed 2 lines. 107 is where I changed, and 108 is where I added the line. So you might have made errors in those 2 lines.
I have somewhere. Oh, yeah, the same lines. Okay, and then cat times, and then plus 3. Count 2 plus 1. Yep. Everything looks the same for me.
You still have the errors?
Let me see.
I'm like, by error, I mean the incorrect output. Try to compile it again and try to run it again.
Yeah, I have the incorrect output.
Okay. Then we will go to the last resort, which is, I'll let you share your screen. Can you go to the green screen, please? Yeah. Okay, press F9. Okay, hit enter. Okay, now hit page down. Okay, go to your source. Count 1 to 10. Can you recompile this for me, please? Okay, now rerun it. That's all. I think it just needed to be recompiled.
Thank you.
Mhm. Okay, guys, now let's do another example, this time with a subroutine. We learn about that in chapter number 9. So what we're doing right now is something related to chapters up till chapter 10. So let's, I would say, let's save it as number 18, even though I'll be getting rid of a few lines here and there. But I also need you to remember how to get rid of lines. If I want to get rid of line 103, how can I do that?
Type D1 in line
Beginning of
103.
the line.
Yep, exactly. So in the column area where it says 0, 0, 0, I'll type D1 and hit enter. It's the same stuff that you learn in IBM Enterprise Concepts class. And that deletes that. Okay. Likewise, if I want to delete all the lines from 105 through 113, how do I do that?
And how many lines you want to delete?
105 through 113. That'll be like 9 lines. How can I do that?
D9.
D9. That's it. Okay. That deletes all those lines. Okay. Now I'm working with a subroutine. So we will first of all create a subroutine. How do you create a subroutine? According to chapter number 9, it is sub R. That's how you create a subroutine. Counter sub and subroutine. Oops. Okay. So we created a subroutine. call counter sub. Now we will display, first of all, let me change the variable count incremented by 5. And then if count is less than 5, then send program message
Do you need to close off the quotes on the two if statements?
what quotes?
Have you seen?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for catching that. Okay. Call subroutine. So there'll be call subroutine counter sub. Okay. Did you guys notice that after I saved here?
Did we notice what?
Oh, nothing. Nothing.
Está bien. Está bien.
Hmm? Anyway, so once you guys are done, save the changes and let's compile this. What did I do here?
Is it because count is touching if? Because mine's spaced farther apart.
Yeah, right. That takes care of the error message. Okay. So since I'm adding 5 to the value of 0, so the count actually becomes 5. So that's why line 111 will be true because count is greater than equals to 5. So the output will be that the count is greater than equals to 5. Everybody got this one?
The output, you just said the output should be greater than or equal to 5.
Correct.
Okay.
Now I will save this one as number 19. And in the number 19, I will create more than one subroutine. So I'm ending my first subroutine right here. And the if conditions, I'm putting in a different subroutine. So I have counter sub, where that's where I am changing the value of the variable. And then in the count sub 2 is where I'm checking the condition. So it's totally depends on my calls. So I'm first calling the counter sub. Then I call counter sub 2.
Would it just be count sub 2?
Oh, you're right. Count sub 2, my bad. Count sub 2. Count sub 2. Counter sub and count sub 2. And we will compile. And run, and you will get the exact same output. So we've modularized the code, but since the variable is global, it is understood by both. So there is no return instruction in subroutines because subroutine only allows an end program instruction to be there. Okay, did everybody get this one too?
I'm debugging right now.
Okay. So once everybody is done debugging it, make sure that you run it, and it'll be the same output as 18, the one before this one. Now everybody got it? Okay, so a couple of announcements. Because of the WMCPA conference next week, we will not be meeting in class next week, but you have your take-home midterm. So what you will be working on between today and by next time we meet, which will be in 2 weeks, and that will be on March 23rd, is when we will be meeting in class again. So you have an assignment number 11 to complete. So that's one thing. Now, if you open your book to page 189. So I have assigned you questions 2 and 5. In question number 2, you explain the term job identifier and its parts, and that explanation is already in the book. In question number 5, using IBM's built-in help, define the following parameters of the submit job command, for which you can take help from the IBM's help. You could use that green screen help, or you could use the online help, but we are looking for defining these parameters of the submit job command, which are also discussed in the book, but just a practice for you to be able to use the help site. So those are the exercise questions that are mentioned here on from page 189, and from page 188 you are doing all 10 review questions. This week's assignment is a bit lengthier because of you having a week off, but you also have an assignment and a midterm. The midterm is already available to you. It is in the 316 button. You guys decide however you want to do it. It's just like, I want these items to be done by the 23rd. Okay, just so that, I just want everybody to be aware of that. Please don't come to me on the 23rd and say, I need an extension. And some of you have a lot of past due items to work on as well. So utilize this time, because I know not everybody is attending the conference. So those of you who are not attending the conference, you have more time than others. It's not like, we encourage everybody to attend the conference, because the kind of learning and the exposure you get at the conference is great. It's unmatched for. And then you get to hear from the professionals in the industry. You get to meet the alumni. You get to meet so many people across the globe, because there are people who especially travel for this from Europe and Africa just to present at the conference. I don't know how many of them will be here this year because of the pandemic from outside of the US, but we have great presence of the great speakers from within the US. But that, so I just want everybody to be aware of that. These two items are due by March 23rd. The midterm and the assignment chapter 11, and we will not be meeting in class. Well, you can, if you go to the wmcpa.org. Did you contacted Alan about this, Christian?
I haven't yet, no.
Okay, because he needed to know the names of students who are participating, because their funding comes through a different source. So how about you get in touch with Alan first, and then you guys can go from there, because you can always register using the register button, but get in touch with Alan first.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, guys, so I'll see some of you at the conference and the rest of you in a couple weeks, and some of you tomorrow in person, Thursday. So that's all for today, guys. Have a good one. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Have a good one. Thank you.
Thank you.
So the thing that is happening next week for this class, is that also what's going on for your Java class on Tuesday? I can't hear you.
Were you not here this Tuesday?
I was here, but I don't remember hearing you say it.
Oh, okay. I think I said
I
it first. Yeah, hold on a second. Let me log
probably
into the Blackboard. It's very slow for some reason. Okay. You see that
Oh.
link here? The take-home exam, 3/17.
Okay.
Yeah. So that will be available to you,
Mhm.
and that's what you will be working on. It's not available yet, but it will be available. So there are two parts. Oh, hold on a second. No. Sorry. Sorry. Hold on a second. I went to the wrong section. It should be available for you guys because you are the OSync, right? Yeah. Okay. It's 350. Yeah, it is available.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's the same thing for Java as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
so-
Just wanted to confirm because I wasn't entirely sure.
Right. Okay. So it's a take-home midterm, not meeting in class. The midterm is available for 2 weeks. The assignment is available. So you guys plan, however.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
I just have a question about the midterm. Is it hands-on or is it like a test?
For control language,
Yeah.
it's just like a quiz.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it
but
timed?
It is not timed. None of my exams are timed. You just have to complete them within the 2 weeks.
Okay.
There are a lot of questions. There are 60 questions. Okay, so don't expect it to be done in like 20 minutes.
Okay.
So plan it accordingly. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Plan.
Yeah. I also
Mhm.
have you also received my accommodations? Because I don't know if they had been sent or not.
Yes, so that's why I didn't give you anything to do in class, right? And if I assign anything to be completed in class, I told you guys that you can work on it outside of the class, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so is there anything else on the accommodation plan that we are not doing?
No, I think actually I think everything's there, I believe. I'll
I'm
email
gonna-
you just in case.
Yeah, okay. So I'm aware of that. That's why I don't force people to do everything in class. It's just
Alright.
like I can only give certain amount of time in class because we have other things to do as well. And that's an
Makes sense.
indicator that, that's why I don't say it out loud. But that's an indicator that's why I say it, those who couldn't complete it in the time could take care of it after.
Okay. All right.
Okay?
All right. I guess I'll see you at the meeting then.
Yep. I'll see you next week. Take care.
All right. Yep. You too. Bye.
Bye.